I suppose we better look at this chuck business, hadn't we? If you recall from the last video, we were going to try and mount a new chuck on the back of the old chuck, which has the worn jaws. And we came to the conclusion that it's just too much machining for the new chuck to sit on, and we'd have this problem with the central spigot of the lathe sticking through here too much, and it would foul with the new chuck. So what I've bought is a box from Gloster Tooling, and this is an LOO backplate, unmachined, brand spanking new. Some of you may have seen it on the social media, but it's brand new. Look at that, absolutely beautiful, and it does fit on the machine. I've already checked. And to go with this, I have bought this box, which in this box is a lovely 6-inch chuck, which needs to go on a backing plate. 6-inch backing plate, 6-inch chuck. 6-inch backing plate, 6-inch chuck. I've put the back plate on the lathe and I've set the detail up, and hopefully you can see the needle. We'll just spin it and we'll see how far out it is. I'm getting about 0.02 of an inch there movement, which I don't think is bad on that. So I've now got it on this face set to 0, so we'll spin it on this one. Oh, good grief. That's 6 thou out, but obviously we do have to set that recess on here, so that's going to get machined down. We'll give this a very slight skim, I think. Just a little bit more. You can just see where I've missed it there. See what happens when we speed it up, because it was quite slow, that. $130. Bang on 160. Good grief, that done half make a mess. So there we are, we've got the step on. Now we've got to go to the mill once it's cooled down and put the holes in. So I've put it on my 1, 2, 3 blocks to get it off the bed, so we've got nice clearance. We can drill straight through for these, which are M8, which came with the chuck. We're going to drill it through M8 and then we're going to countersink it so the cap sits in the back plate. Now, because I've got a little bit of play on my stub on the centre, this should mean that we should be able to have a bit of play to set it up on the lathe if we need to. So obviously we'll do that initially. We'll use the dial test indicator before we tighten these fully up to get it running perfectly true. And then just having that little bit of play, because obviously they're M8, which is 7.87 on the outside, 7.9. It varies there, 7.9. So we'll have a little bit of adjustment, a bit of play. So if it is running out of true, we can get the dial test indicator on it and we can set up the 3-jaw chuck perfectly to this back plate on the machine. That's something that I've seen on John Mills's YouTube channel, Double Boost, because every time he takes his 3-jaw off and puts it back on, he has to set this up. So hopefully we don't have to do that, we only have to do it the once. But having a little bit of play gives us that room for improvement. So we'll get it set up now, touch off the sides here, find the centre, and then we'll use the digital readout to do the circumference holes, which should be, according to the manufacturer, 142mm diameter. Right, so we'll touch off on this side and then we'll touch off on the other side and get the 0 for that way and then 0 for that way on the DRO. There we are. There we go. That should be centre that way. So now we'll do the front and the back. Do the same. There we are. I don't know if you can see that. Bang on 170, that's 10mm, so that's 160, exactly that. So, press the half function, and then the Y. And now, the centre of this should be 0, 0. That very point there is the centre of this back plate. Oh yeah, very nice. Oh, it's literally a 2mm gap under there and it's hit the stop up there. Wow, that was close. Right, let's get it cleaned up and see if it fits. Right, I've deburred the holes, I've given it a quick clean with some cleaner. Let's have a see. It seems to line up. It's got really good reviews, this this chuck, so hopefully it's going to do us well. Oh, look at that, they've all gone in. They've all screwed in, so we'll just nip them up and then we'll get it back on lathe. Come on. Blooming heavy, these things.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I really need to find a spanner for one of these. The only thing it didn't come with. Right, let's knock her on. So to get it dialed in absolutely plumb on the centre, you need something of relatively high precision that you can put in, that you know is perfectly round, so you can get rid of that runoff. Now in most workshops you will have these, especially if you have a milling machine. The most round piece of stock you have is a milling cutter. The shank is the most round thing you will find in your workshop, unless you're into high precision accuracy and you have test bars and whatnot. But if not, use a milling cutter. Pop that in your chuck. I'm going to give myself a little generous little bit there on the outside. Which we are currently running about 2 thou out. So what we then do is we undo the little screws that hold it on at the back, and at that spot there we give it a little tap. So just loosen them at the back, so they're tight but they're not, we can get a bit of adjustment out of it, and then gently, and then we shall check it again. So we're just over 1 thou, so it's there. So we'll just tap that edge again. So we're still 1 thou. So there's the high spot. You have to do this a few times, and then you keep going until you get pretty much no movement whatsoever, and then you tighten all the bolts on the back and make sure they are tight. There we go, we are back up in business. We've got the Vevor chuck on a Gloster Tooling backplate. How long the chuck will last is anyone's guess, but the cheap price that they are, we could just buy one every year and chuck this one into the scrap. We're not doing that much machining, we're not a high demand workshop. This is just for stuff for ourselves and other little bits and pieces that we may be doing in the future. So hopefully we can bring in a bit more revenue into the workshop, and we can maybe upgrade to a better quality chuck in the future, but I'm super impressed with it. You know, I got that down to less than 1,000 in movement on the first setup. Obviously, unless we're talking high precision, high price chucks, we're never going to get it down to, you know, less than 0, really. Which you can't really do less than 0, could you? No. I'm really impressed with it anyway. I think it's great. Now all the thing to do is get on and use it and make some more parts for the steam engine. So, with that said, if you've enjoyed what you've seen in the video, and you haven't already, then please do, by all means, click the subscribe button down below and the notification bell, and you'll be notified when we next release a video. And if you wouldn't mind clicking the thumbs up button, you'll be doing the channel a great service, because that will help it get around the YouTube algorithm and such. And if you would like to check out this video right here, you may find it quite interesting. Stay safe. Laters.